don't need no keys. Don't need no keys for my Hussein or my Ferrari. Don't need no keys for my Hussein or my Bugatti. Push the button.
What's good, YouTube? What is good, Wayne gang? I am back with more heat for you guys. I told you I was going to get Pops on the line so we could talk about it. Some things have happened with our team since that, so I got him and B on here. They are going to hash it out. Do not forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2022, and it's my year, and I'm claiming it. So, without further ado, let me bring B and Dad up here and let them get into what exactly they got to say. Go ahead, y'all.
What's going on, y'all? Hey, I told y'all the madness was coming. Hey, they found roaches in Baker's kitchen and they shut it down.
Baker is, I don't know, man. There's still, what's crazy is look at them. I mean, they're trying to find more excuse. Oh, I'm going to go surgery. Like, it's just like more excuses after excuses.
Right. If you watched it, and I forgot, Shannon Sharp pointed it out. I seen it, but, you know, people was really paying attention to see how Baker was going to play because he is a #1 overall pick. He is under a microscope because at this point in your career, 4 seasons in, you shouldn't even have to doubt whether your quarterback is a franchise quarterback or not. You know what I mean? And everybody been saying this whole season, well, Baker's been banged up. In the game against Pittsburgh, it was a play where he scrambled out of the pocket, ran and got the first down. And instead of stepping out of bounds, he tried to run over a safety and he dipped his bad shoulder into the safety.
Yeah.
Everybody know if you got an injury that's supposed to be that's what you protected regardless. Once you get that first down, either you're going to slide or you're going to step out of bounds. That right there showed the public that he has been holding this injury so that he can hold the Cleveland Browns hostage for another year. And I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's Baker Mayfield is the type of quarterback that, first off, once again, I'm going to say it again, he was a big name for Cleveland. He sold tickets for the organization. He got their ticket sales to the all-time high probably since the stadium's been there. He was the new, sad to say, I don't think he was, but they used him as the face of the new LeBron James. You know, that's just what Cleveland has been using. And don't get me wrong, like you want, out of all the quarterbacks Cleveland has been through, they have been through a lot, and I get it. But like I was just telling my pops, you know, at the end of the day, Watson is out there, man. And honestly, Deshaun Watson, even stat-wise, and I'm a big Brady fan. I'll tell you this right now. I love Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. But when it comes to stats right now, even look at Deshaun Watson. He was #1 quarterback. And, I mean, Deshaun Watson is probably the best quarterback in the league. And that's not even joking. And putting him in the game, I mean, there were so many times, even I heard, even during like the Pittsburgh game, you got the commentators talking about, where's what's his face? Chubbs. Where's Chubbs? Why are they not running Chubbs? You even hear them saying it in the game. Like and I see him on the sideline like this, just hands folded, just looking. And, you know, and that's whenever I seen that man's just sitting there looking like that, I'm like, they're not wanting to win this game.
I think, me personally, I said it before, I think Stefanski was putting the game on Baker's shoulder. He wanted to, or let me say, for a better term, he needed to show the public that Baker was average at best. By not having Chubb in, you kind of neutralize what Baker could do because there's not a lot of threats on the field. They're not scared that we're going to go deep. And without Chubb being in there, they're not scared that we're going to be able to run the ball. So that leaves one person on the field that has to lead his troops, and that was Baker. And he did it in a subtle way because it's not uncommon for Stefanski to take Nick Chubb out. If you notice how they used him all season, when Kareem was in there, it was either Chubb would start off the game, he would do the first quarter or the first two possessions, and then they'll put Kareem Hunt in there and let him work out for a minute, and they kept him fresh. So I'm not surprised that he did it. I'm surprised that he did it in that game, seeing that the Steelers are not a big run stop team. So to not have him in there was kind of questionable at that time if you really wanted to win the game, because that would have gave Baker a better opportunity to have more receivers probably either get open or have a defense that he was facing that was going to be honest. You know what I mean?
His average on that game for a little bit that he did play, he was 5.7, 6 point, something like that. Like, I mean,
he was averaging at 1.8 yards a carry. During that game before the second half. And they even had a reporter come up to Stefanski and asked him, was anything wrong with Nick Chubb? And he was like, nah, nothing was wrong with him.
That's why I said, you seen Chubb over there with his hands. He was just sitting there like, I'm just here.
Now, with that being said, that's one of the problems that I do have with Stefanski.
Play calling?
Play
calling?
Not so much the play calling, because he pretty much called the same plays he called last year. Baker just wasn't executing. They showed on several occasions where the pass concept that Stefanski was calling left a man wide open for Baker, but Baker chose to go for either the deeper route, the one that was covered by two defenders, instead of hitting the open man. So I used to think it was the play calling, but I think it's more of Baker's decision making when he's in the pocket. You know what I mean? If you look at any other higher echelons or elite quarterbacks, the game seems fluent to them. They seem patient in the pocket. They don't seem as anxious as Baker do. Like, soon as the ball snaps, Baker's looking to get it out of his hand, but it's not in a smooth progression. You know what I mean? It's like, even when they was calling 3-step drops, he was pump faking the pass before he threw it, which allowed Watts to get to him. The play call was supposed to be a 3-step drop, get the ball out your hand. That would neutralize Watt from getting pressure on the quarterback, because after he takes his first 2 steps, the ball should be out. But since Baker won't release the ball like that and he holds on to it, he allows the defense to either compress the pocket, and you got a defensive tackle like Hayward's, he gonna collapse the pocket from the inside. So a lot of it was on Baker. I can't say that the offensive line had nothing to do with it, but sometimes, as you know, as a quarterback, if you know you can't block their defensive ends, the best way to neutralize them is get the ball out quick. And with some quarterbacks, they do it. Baker hasn't been able to do that, and that caused him to take 9 sacks. They tried to put it on the right tackle, which we knew he was outmanned. But what they won't tell you is that they did a chart, and they said they had tight ends and running backs to help chip on J.J. Watt. It was just those few plays that he called where it was supposed to be 3-step drops, get the ball out, and Baker held the ball, that allowed Watts to get to him. So it's a disconnect between the quarterback and the coach. And that came out at the end of the game when Baker pretty much threw the coach under the bus by saying he could have called better plays to get him in better positions.
See, my thing is, though, like, for a quarterback with his size, I should say, his height,
right?
Designing a 3-step drop, you're kind of asking either A, for a sack, or B, you're looking at an interception, unless they roll out.
Right.
9 out of 10. That's, I mean, it's what's going to happen. So designing that play that way, you might be right. You know, is trying to let them see that, hey, he can't run the plays that I'm trying to run.
Ain't that lightweight brilliant though?
It
I
is.
mean,
It is.
because if you think about it, Baker has been holding Cleveland hostage for the last couple of years. And the reason why I say that is because Cleveland went through so many quarterbacks that since he made the playoffs, everybody think he is the golden child.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it was asterisk put by it because remember, it wasn't that many people that was even watching the games last year live. So y'all was playing in empty stadiums. It was almost like a glorified practice.
Yeah.
But now when you got fans sitting in there and you can't hear your offensive lineman, can't hear the quarterback, you know, the crowd can become a problem in some games. And I think that's where Baker, you know, got tripped up because, like you said, it's height. So he can't just take 3 steps, throw over the top. You know what I mean? He has to throw through windows. He has to see people wide open before he can throw the ball. So by Stefanski keeping him in the pocket, it allowed everybody to see, okay, these are his deficiencies. Last year, I did all I could. Because remember, last year, he rolled him out a lot. It was a lot of play action, bootlegs, get him out, hit the tight end and the flats.
Russell Wilson, you have to.
But since Stefanski know that Baker pretty much is supposed to be an extension of him, he calls certain plays to show either the higher up in the fans that Baker is not that caliber of play caller.
Changing up. He can only go one way, one stop.
He's only like 1 or 2 dimensional. You know what I mean? And we can't base our offense on doing rollouts all the time. You see what I'm saying? So if he allowed Baker to lose face with the fans, it would make easier for Cleveland to move on from Baker. See, at that point in time, it was like Baker had a cult. No one wanted to go against Baker. He was injured. You know, his ankle, he's this, he's tough. Everybody that's in the NFL right now was tough. Everybody's playing with
a deadly weapon, though, is if you can get a quarterback to do that, because Landry could line up in a slot and he could get one-on-one with a bigger person and beat him across the middle for a slant. And that's the key is, and that's what he's trying to do. But with Baker is he has to put him on that slant. You know, you got Landry on the left side, he's on a slant, and by the time Baker's rolling out, he's already on the other side of the field. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
You're losing. It's too much time. You know, your average great quarterbacks, and you can look at this, you can research it. Your average great quarterbacks can only really hold the ball for so long, and if they hold that ball for so long, they'll tell you if nothing's open. Look at Tom Brady. He's gonna duck and roll. You know,
right.
He knows it's nothing else. You gotta get rid of the ball.
Hey, and if you notice and you watch the game, you see Baker doing spin moves when nobody was out there. I was like, you know, either they teach you to step up in the pocket or have pocket awareness.
I think he started feeling that he was in the hot seat. If you want me to be honest, I think he started feeling like, okay, they trying to see what I'm about. So he was trying to force things at that point. That's why he threw a couple picks, overthrow, missed, or you know what I mean. Baker was trying to do what he knows he thinks he can do, but at the end of the day, it's more about Baker. You had your playoffs. You got Cleveland to the playoffs. You did your thing, but you're not going to get us where we need to be with the type of talent that we have. Like I said, but the key is like I was saying earlier, Deshaun Watson, I think, and I was talking, I commented on Dwayne's comments because he been trolling this stuff pretty bad on the book, and I'm like, he got into it yesterday with a couple people in their comments. But my thing is, you're talking about a quarterback that got to go, and you guys got to find somebody. One that I'm questionable, I haven't got the research yet, I was just looking into it, is Watson a free agent next year? Is he available? just automatically available? Because then he
no,
with Patrick.
He might be a free agent, but I think he has a clause in his contract where he can't. They can't just trade him anywhere.
So it's up to the team.
No, it's up to him.
Okay.
You know, if he waives the clause, then they can ship him to where they want to. But I think him, Aaron Rodgers, and Wilson have this clause in their contract to where even if they want to get traded, they can only go somewhere where they approve the trade. If not, they can't just be traded to any old team.
Okay.
I had said that earlier where I think it was maybe 4 weeks ago where I had mentioned that the ideal situation for me would be for Cleveland and Houston to swap quarterbacks, pretty much what the Rams and Detroit did. Because Watson don't want to be in Houston. Baker no longer want to be in Cleveland. See, if he goes back to Houston, where he's a football god at, then he can get away with these antics. You know what I mean? He can do exactly what he's trying to do in Cleveland, but do it in Houston. And they need a quarterback out there. They drafted one last year, but he don't have the cachet or the personality to put butts in the seats like Baker would if he went to Houston. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it would just be up to whether Watson see an opportunity to come to Cleveland to rejuvenate his career, because Cleveland will give him a shot. You see, they gave what's his name? Malik. He was locked up. They signed him off the street. He played this year. And then you got Kareem Hunt, who had his problem in Kansas City. Cleveland, picked him up. So it's not beyond Cleveland to pick up a player like this. It's going to be whether Watson want to come there or not. And it's going to be hard because of everything that's going on. What free agent really would want to come to Cleveland with all the fuckery that's going on right now?
Well, I think only a lot of it is coming from Baker. So as long as he's gone, I mean, you're talking about anybody will probably come. When you're talking about Deshaun Watson, he's looking for an opportunity. Cleveland's known for giving people opportunities at this point in time. So I think, a lot of teams are, I mean, there's a lot of players out here that probably shouldn't be back on the field, but, there's an opportunity that a lot of teams give them that opportunity and they ball out. I mean, look at y'all picked up Clowney? Wasn't he dropped from his team or something like that?
Yeah. But, speaking of Clowney, he might be up for a new contract because Quiet Cap, he had a pretty good season this year, logging 7. I think he had 7 sacks, a whole bunch of quarterback pressures, and stop for losses. So he's a free agent. We don't know if we're going to re-sign him. One thing they do know is that if they bring Baker back, some of these free agents that are in Cleveland are going to opt out. One is going to be, I know, Jarvis Landry is on his way out. We'll want to keep him as a wide receiver, but as long as Baker's there, I can guarantee you these free agents is going to walk away from Cleveland because they know that at the end of this track meet, it ain't gonna go well with Baker being at the under center.
So the question is time ticking on how quick he has to make a decision. How much are you going to have to offer? I mean, I'm guessing if you get Deshaun Watson, you really ain't got to lose nothing if he wants to come.
No, I mean, I can see because Houston's asked it for first round, 1 or 2 first-round picks. But I think
you guys have a stacked team. You have a really stacked team. I mean,
and that's why I say it would make sense if we negotiate with Houston and say we swap, we take Watson, swap him with Baker, and probably give them the the 2023 first round. You know what I mean? Something like that, to where we taking their headache, they're taking our headache, but we'll still come out on a better half because Watson is a better quarterback than Baker. If we do that, then we can get a receiver in the draft, and then we can move accordingly. We won't move back too much if we make a move like that. But if we go for another quarterback, the only one I can see is probably Carr. He's a free agent. Garoppolo's a free agent, but that's a lateral movement. You know, that's pretty much, you know, Baker, and he stays injured anyway. So it's either in the draft or picking up Watson. Me personally, I'll go
having
Watson.
an early pick. You don't think they're going to try to go for a quarterback?
No, it's none really out here. And then you have to think about it's a couple factors that go into play. If you draft one, you can't draft one right now because there's not one that have a name, notoriety, or the skill of a franchise quarterback right now.
But
we all know when
injury going to make teams question, is he going to be able to come back and throw the ball the correct way?
Oh, you know the old saying, somebody's trash and somebody's treasure.
Yeah, I know. But with him, with that injury, I mean, you're talking about a quarterback. So it's not his throwing arm. But with that being said, he's been blaming this pretty much, let's say, quote unquote, he's been blaming this injury for his passes not being so accurate.
If he was able to fool us, he could fool another GM into believing that he's that man. You know what I mean? And they won't find out for at least a year or two down the line that he's not actually who he say he is.
The only way that I think it'll work out with Houston is if Houston looks at him like, okay, our team's been down for the past couple of years. We've had our problems. What if we use him to try to sell tickets?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's once again, it's another ticket sale. I mean, there's pluses in it for Houston. But the key is,
and it's not to say that he might not go out there and do like what Drew Brees did when he left the Chargers and went to the Saints. He became a better quarterback over time. I'm not saying Baker can't do that. I'm just saying that he done played out his stay in Cleveland. Because once you lose that locker room and your offensive side of the ball don't believe in you any longer, you're kind of useless to a team. Because as you watched in the game, every time Baker messed up, the offensive players really wasn't phased. They just walked to the sideline like, oh, there you go again. You know what I mean?
My question is nobody knows, and I'm pretty sure nobody knows, but probably the league. The big concern with taking a gamble on Deshaun Watson is they threaten to basically blackball him in a way to say he can't come back to another if he tries to go to another. I mean, I heard there was things that stopped him from leave because he was going to leave last year. He was going to leave. But this man has been going to practice every single practice. You haven't heard nothing from
him. You know why? Because if he go to practice, they can't fuck with his money.
Yeah.
They can say all they want to say, but and that speaks volume to him as a player. Because if you know you got all this heat on you and this organization is lying on you.
I think the heat's gone. I really think it's gone.
It's gone because it's yesterday's news. And plus, the NFL has until February the 14th or March the 1st to do something about this, either press charges or make it go away. But by
there's a time frame on that.
Yeah, so by March, we will know definitely whether he's going to be able to play in the league or he's going to have to deal with this. And it's two things. He can either fight it or by this time, it's pretty much done going away. Public opinion done moved on. And, especially in Cleveland, he come here. Like I told you.
Reputation. It wasn't nothing horrible. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, my coach went through it. I mean, not my coach, my owner. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's bigger than, I guess. I mean, who was it? Was it Antonio Brown that had the issues with the trainer? That woman trainer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they was talking about he was going to have problems, but you never heard nothing about that anymore.
Let me tell you one that no one talks about anymore. Remember Ben Roethlisberger with the girl in the bathroom?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the story can be swept up under the rug depending on what the NFL. Right. And if they see an opportunity, because now the NFL wants Baker to succeed. Don't get it wrong. It's a story made in football heaven for them, because you get the good old white boy who won the Heisman Trophy, who got all these commercials, still playing in the NFL. He's still going to make the NFL money. You see what I'm saying? So if he go to Houston, they still get part of that. He just takes all that with him to Houston. The caveat is that they got to allow Watson to come off this list that they have and give him an opportunity. Why not send him to a place where we done already gave 3 or 4 people second chances? So it's not like he coming into a community where it's going to be the same thing. The problem is that right now Cleveland has so much infighting, we don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on free agents that want to come there. Because we know for sure if Baker was there, we're not getting no top-notch receiver to come there as a free agent. One, because it's not a big market. 2, the weather. So it's a lot of things going against Cleveland, but it's quite a few things going for them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Watson, if he'd sit back and look, be like, ooh, I got all these pieces, and y'all gonna get me.
You guys have pretty much, design-wise, I should say, almost the same or better offense than Cincinnati, and they are explosive.
Yeah, we just don't have a quarterback.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, design-wise, you have the receiver. Yeah. You had Odell at the beginning of the year. You have probably 2 of the strongest, best running backs if you actually use them. There's a lot of explosion on that offense if they stay.
Right.
Even with Odell being gone, there's still a lot to come to. Like you said, Deshaun Watson, he could see that. But the key is what's going to happen. So what's sad to say is I'd hate to see, because honestly, like I said this again, Tom Brady is a great quarterback. But whenever you look at stats compared to like what this man has been doing, he's been a number 1 quarterback every year that he played almost.
Yeah.
Tom Watson was pretty much stat-wise one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the time he played.
And that's why it would benefit the NFL to get him back into the league.
And what they ruined him by getting rid of his receivers, making you mad. You know what I mean? And then I think, once again, and I'm sorry to say this, but I think this massage thing, I think these women have probably been coming to the league for years. And I think since he got mad and he threw a tantrum or whatever happened, they said, oh, we got something on you. You know what I mean?
No, you know what happened? He said he no longer wanted to play for Houston.
Yeah, and as soon as he did that.
As soon as he said that, that's when all these allegations came up. Because they wanted to damage him, because if Houston damaged his reputation, then he wouldn't be valuable on the trade market. You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't be able to just walk away and go anywhere. Right. But see, now it has to double back, because in order for them to trade him, they can't get 3 number 1s for damaged goods. Yeah. So if he got this, rape, all this stuff, I'm alleged, hanging over him, they're not going to get 3 number 1s for him. So they got to make this go away by March so they can get something for him. And this will be a perfect trade opportunity for them, because not only...
So would it be smarter for Cleveland to go in before that time and take the gamble, or wait?
Well, they would have to talk to his agents
to see what's going on behind the door.
See what's going on and see if he even want to come here anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not.
I think the talk's already out there. I mean, it's already been tweeted once or twice.
Yeah.
Before. I think the talk's there.
But he has an opportunity, because you got to think about another job open up. Pittsburgh just opened up. Who's to say that he won't want to leave there and go to Pittsburgh? You say
Pittsburgh got hype, but do they have weapons? Once again, if you're talking about, hey, I'm a quarterback, I have my choices in my hands that I can go where I want to go at this point in time. I mean, there's not a team out there as loaded as Cleveland. I mean, I was telling, what is it? Somebody
Yeah,
earlier, I was like, shoot, you play with Cleveland on a video game, you could do some damage.
but
But
what about the aspect that going to this organization in Cleveland, you might not even be there for 2 or 3 years because of you know, the turmoil that's going on. Now take that and then now Pittsburgh do got some young receivers. They just
do.
didn't
They
just
got
didn't have a
two,
court.
I'd say.
Yeah, you see what I'm
Claypool is a
saying?
great receiver.
And then you got Harris, a running back. You got a good defense.
Yeah, but they
And you
don't keep
got
running backs. They don't keep them.
who?
Pittsburgh don't keep the running backs,
Man,
man.
they're gonna keep Harrison.
I
I didn't know
hope.
Harrison I didn't know he ran for over 1,000 yards this year.
Well, I'll tell you right now, and I mean, maybe something happened, but that old boy, that Connor, I didn't think they needed to get rid of him.
No, but they couldn't have 3 backs back there. They knew this Najee Harris was gonna be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Connor was like
Power.
he was a long shot. He was like, okay, you know, we like his story because he battled cancer, came back, so they know it's in him. But you know, man, he just didn't play out in Pittsburgh the way they wanted to. So if I'm looking at both organizations, I would want to go to a more stable organization. Even, you know, like you said, it's like flipping a coin on the talent if you put a new quarterback in that position.
So you hear everybody's thing right now is who is it? Frank. Somebody said they'd come out of retirement if it was a Super Bowl contender. I just seen something on ESPN. There was some old running back, right? So the thing is,
Frank Gore.
I think he said something. But it was probably a joke or something, you know. But everybody right now is saying that whenever they get traded or they want to go somewhere, your first thing is you do want to make the playoffs, you do want to make a Super Bowl.
Right.
And I get that. But the Patriots, the year that we went undefeated and lost to the Giants, we had a team like that. Okay. This isn't the NBA. You can't have a team full of stacked players of star. I mean, you can't have it. Because then at the end of the day, once that loss comes, like that loss did come in the Super Bowl, you get people playing a blame game. Oh, you didn't throw me the ball. Oh, we lost because of, you know what I mean? So the problem is that's why Moss didn't get signed for a second year with us. He went on to the, you know, social media and their radio stations talking about we didn't throw him the ball enough in the Super Bowl. That's why we lost. But end of the day, it's more about, you know, Deshaun Watson. It's his choice. And like you said, he has to weigh his options. Yeah, you going to Cleveland, it's cold. But, I mean, what's the difference about Pittsburgh, though? The weather's still almost the same.
The organization, I'm telling you, if I know that I'm going to sign a contract, I'm going to go somewhere where I know the
so
organization.
Do you think he's looking for a long contract then? He ain't looking for no baby contract.
No.
But do you think anybody's going to give him a big contract with what's going on?
Yeah, they will, because once it's swept up under the rug, he's too much of a talent to not, you know,
Get what he deserves.
Opportunity. You know what I mean? He's more beneficial to the NFL because you don't get, especially in this year's draft, you don't have that quarterback. You know what I mean? You don't have Trevor Lawrence. You don't have a Justin Field. You don't have a Mahomes. You don't have these type of quarterbacks. This is one of the weakest quarterback patches that come out in a long time. You know what I mean? And if you find one, it's almost finding the diamond in the rough. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you put that against the background of Deshaun Watson, what team do you think will not go after Deshaun Watson as opposed to these quarterbacks that's coming out this year?
So yeah, in his career so far, the dude is amazing. I mean, what, 7 interceptions, 33 touchdowns, QB rating of 63.7. I mean, that's his last year. That's the last season he actually got to start, 2020. First place in yards, like I said. 7th place in touchdowns, 7th in interceptions, and 12th in QB rating. But I mean, I just think, I don't know, man. It's going to be a hard decision for him to make because, like you said, Pittsburgh just opened up. 49ers are going to be available unless they try to go with the rookie.
Denver going to be opened up because Teddy Two Gloves, they're not sold on him. Locke, they're not sold on him. So that's another organization that is known to bring in quarterbacks and give them, be friendly towards them. So, it's a couple places they can land.
Well, if I was Cleveland with the opportunities, I don't know, man. I just hope and pray that this coach don't say, okay, let's see how he plays with this injury. That's all I'm worried about with Cleveland right now. Are they going to say, okay, Baker, you was hurt. Let's see how you play next year after the surgery.
You can't go into next year with Baker in there. And the reason why I tell you, because he didn't already damage the locker room this year. He comes back next year, you didn't already spend 2 years of Miles Garrett's prime, Nick Chubb's prime. You see what I'm saying? If these leaders don't believe in him, he's going to do more damage than good coming back next year. They'd be better off just, whether getting somebody in the draft or getting Watson. If they bring him back, it's going to be another season of BS going along the line because he's not going to change who he is. And that's what the front office see, that Baker is a spoiled kid, that it has to be his way. And if not, I'm throwing everybody under the bus. And I'm going to make it look like I'm just making a comment, but he's actually, trying to get out in front of stories so he can save his brand.
Yeah, hopefully, Baker just don't convince Cleveland any longer. That's the key.
Well, I think the convincing is done and over with, especially in the way that these last couple of events played out.
Yeah, but are they going to blame his arm?
He tried to, but remember that the GM came out and said our medical staff and everybody done looked at Baker and seen that he was fit to play. So if he's fit to play, we expect him to play at a pro-level quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Even when they said it then, they said we expect him to even play better in the next couple of weeks. So if you on the field, they expect you to play at, I ain't going to say an elite level because he's never really been elite, but at least above average. If he came out and he played above average and we won we lost 3 of the last 5 games or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And he was the catalyst behind it. If he would have pulled out 2 or 3 of those games, he would have probably had more leeway for them to be like, all right, we'll bring him back and see what we can do. I think they have seen enough of him and the antics that he done pulled. They like, you know what? We'd rather lose one person than to lose the whole locker room.
Why can't they make him pull Antonio Brown? He said, I ain't want to play. He said, honestly, I came out, I read a couple things about that situation because I was really curious on what happened. And so AB, he said he didn't, I guess he had an injury before the game. But the staff and, like you said, organization, the medical, all them people said that he was good to play.
Right.
His number was called. Let's go on the game. I don't want to play. You know what I mean? I don't want to go in. You know what I mean? Pretty much throwing a tantrum in a way. I don't want to go in. I don't feel like my body's ready. And coach said, I guess coach told him, well, you could quit then. He said, all right, I'm going to quit. So,
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a couple things that fell into play with all that. There was a couple people that still blame, and they keep playing the replay of it on like social media when he played for Pittsburgh and he got hit really, really bad and he had that concussion for like a month. They're trying to play it out as CTE. And I mean, honestly, that man does got some mental health, you know, he does need some help. But at the end of the day, he's still an active human, and something had to trigger that. Don't get me wrong, do I think he's a little, you know, rocky in the head? It's a little rocky. But if it wasn't for Brady, that's why Brady brought him to New England. Brady brought him to Tampa Bay. Brady, I think is upset.
I heard he was 3 receptions or 30 plus some yards from hitting one of his markers, to where he would have his bonus would have kicked in and he would have got $1 million or something like that.
Okay, so that was the first thing, and I did read that, and I commented on a couple of things that came out that night.
Right.
The next day is when it came out on what happened on the field. But that night, yes, I did comment on somebody's comment about that, because I'm like, hold on, that's some bull, you know. Hopefully that ain't true, you know what I mean? But then I looked at statistics and like what was going on, stats. If you look at all the breakdown, he was actually losing $1 million, okay, by quitting. He quit. He never got fired. He did not get fired. They did not fire him. I think maybe did they push him to do this? I don't know. You never know.
They still haven't released him though. From my understanding,
he quit. That's the key, is they're playing it out as he quit.
But the NFL was not writing it up as he quit, or they said he quit on the team, because he could technically say I left and I quit on that team that day, but they're not releasing him from Tampa Bay because they said something about there's some terminology that in Tampa Bay went ahead and released him that he could sue the NFL.
So there's probably a lot behind it, because if what happened, what I'm saying, that the coach influenced it on the field, and that's what happened, that's probably where the suit can come into play.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they probably ain't going to release him. They probably won't. They probably keep him on.
Because if he stood on the sideline and said,
but they don't have to pay him if he's not coming.
Yeah, they don't
have to pay him, so it's not hurting him.
Yeah, if the coach told him to go ahead and quit, and he quit.
Well, my dude took an Uber to the airport. He wasn't even allowed to go back on the bus. I mean, he had to get an Uber to the airport.
Hey, man. Hey, I wish I was there, because I would have picked his ass up. We're like, hey, Big, what's really going on?
Hey, I'd have loved to have been that Uber driver. I'll tell you that.
Oh, no. Because, he paid, gave him a tip. Because he said he was at the basketball game the day after.
Yeah, like I was about to say, I know he went to the airport, and then they said the line was too long or something. He ended up staying and ended up going to the basketball game the next day. He ended up staying in New York. I think he's still there right now, like just chilling.
I think he needs to clear his head. He'll never play in the league again because of what happened. True, 100%.
Listen, he don't care.
He don't care.
He
hasn't cared since Pittsburgh. I mean, he Antonio Brown has been basically mentored through Brady for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
To keep his head on right. If you see in that game, Brady tried to calm him down. Brady tried to calm him down. There was a couple receivers. Evans tried to calm him down. Yeah. And he said, you know what, just get out of my way. I'm taking this.
But he done made so much money at this point.
He gonna go fight Jake Paul for a couple million. I mean,
him doing that, he ain't gonna play again, because it's not gonna be a team that's gonna take a chance.
What sucks about AB is he has a lot of talent. And he's not old. He still got the talent, and it sucks as a fan. If you're a fan of Antonio Brown, because he still has a lot of fans, regardless how you look at it. he still is a receiver that can tear your corner up. You know what I mean? He can still do his job. It's been proven ever since Gronk ain't been nothing. Evans was out for a while. Antonio Brown was Brady's go-to. That's all he had for a little bit. So
now what do you think about him taking his name and recognition and going to the XFL?
I mean, it's money. I just don't think he wants to do it anymore. I think Antonio Brown has not wanted to play in the league probably since what, the Raiders? I really don't.
He want to play in the league. He just, once you get that money, you see life a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once you get to that point where you done had the money's really nothing no more. It's the power. You know, and by him walking off the field like that, he left on his own terms. That was his form of having, power. You see what I'm saying? Because they can't tell what you're going to tell me. I can't play no more. I quit. You know what I mean? I done made me a couple $100 million. Good. What y'all going to sue? You can't take the money back.
You know what? I've been waiting to drop this song anyways.
No.
He said, I've been waiting.
And then you think about it, in Florida, you ain't got to pay taxes on the money that you know what I mean?
No. That's why Brady, that's another reason why Brady went there. It's all, man, it's money, man. Like, Antonio Brown, if he can be successful without football, he's not going to do football again. But the key is his rap career is not going to go far.
No.
So, I mean, he's got to figure something out. And what sucks is, as a football player, if you don't go out on good terms, like a lot of these other athletes, you can't get on ESPN. You know what I mean? You can't get.
He ain't the ESPN type.
I mean, yeah,
but he would have been them beat the brakes on
invested. I hope he's invested his money.
He probably did. I'm pretty sure. He's not a dummy. He might have did some stupid stuff, but he's not a dummy. You tell me one person that can go from Pittsburgh to the Raiders to Tampa Bay, all on the bad notes that he done left with. So he's not a dummy. And I don't think he's built for ESPN because he would have beat the brakes off Stephen A. And then let Stephen A say something stupid.
They're going to have to keep that virtual if that happens. Virtual.
Hey, you remember how that bear snatched Jack Hanna up?
Oh. Yeah. That's
been AB putting them paw on Stephen A if he would talk sideways.
I just, I hope he don't have this stuff, man. That's all I'm gonna say. That's CTE, man. Or CTA, whatever. It's not nothing to play with. No, and I was talking to Wayne about it. I really think, because how many older players, man, before helmets was as protective as they are. I mean, they didn't have no mental health like they do right now. So I feel like whatever they juicing these players with to let them not feel that broken ankle or that broken finger,
right?
I think something has to do with the play. Right.
The bad thing about it is the NFL washed their hands. They're not going to admit they had anything to do with any head damage to AB. You understand? So he's on his own. He can try to sue the NFL and say, that's what he got, but they're going to deny it because if they open up that can of worms and he win that case, you know how many cases is coming behind it?
But the key is, like, you got people's family out here that's trying to win that same case, and you're not going to win it.
No.
You're not going to win it. There's not enough proof because these players have been playing since Little League almost, you know what I mean? So you can't blame the league on a mental health brain injury without proof of it. And the key is there's no proof. There's no study that they can do while this player is alive. You know what I mean? There's nothing they can do at this point in time. And that's why I'm speaking. They got to fix that, though. They got to find that. Everybody out here studying this COVID. Like, how about you put your time and your effort into trying to save somebody's life from not killing their whole family or their doctors, or like the last guy, he killed his HVAC guy. He killed 2 doctors. Where he killed his wife, his daughter. I mean, the dude went crazy. Wayne, when are we doing the predictions? Maybe tomorrow?
And tomorrow we're gonna get the predictions knocked out. We're gonna wrap this one up today, and then tomorrow we're gonna do the predictions, and then I'm gonna have Dad talk about some stocks and things like that. Try to get all of the subscribers in tune what is going on and whatnot. So that is the play, you guys. We are about to wrap this up. Like I told you, I was just gonna let them talk it out. I know they both got their feelings about Baker, and you heard me in the last video and my feelings about him. So I let them have it for today. But this is the end of the video. Do not forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be dropping back to back straight heat for you guys for the rest of 2022. So without further ado, I'm getting out of here. We are all out. Peace.
Peace.